You're watching an exclusive high-definition broadcast of HDNET Fights. This is HDNET Fights Upset Special with your host, Ron Kruk.
Hey everyone, I'm Ron Kruk and welcome to HDNET Fights Upset Special, a look at some of the most surprising results we've seen in mixed martial arts on HDNET. Everybody loves the underdog, especially when they find a way to come out on top. Tonight we have competitors with just a handful of fights under their belts taking on seasoned veterans. An amateur making his professional debut for a heavyweight title, and a fighter who showed up at open tryouts and just a few months later was taking on one of the top fighters in his weight class. And finally, we'll check out one of the sport's best in the toughest and the most disappointing bout of his career. In the fight game, things can change in an instant. One man's misfortune can be his opponent's finest hour. And for sport fans, there's nothing better than an upset. First up, we go to the Pacific Northwest and SportFight 21. Zach George, the IFO lightweight champion, entered his fight against Mike Joy with a 12-1 record. The odds were against Joy stopping George's 3-fight win streak. Having lost 3 of his previous 4 bouts, it seemed like Joy had no chance. The fight would go the distance, but there was no doubt who got the better in this matchup.
As Mike Joy, pretty boy, comes out of Tacoma, Washington. Known for his submissions, but he was able to break a losing streak recently, back in April with a rear naked choke. Again, another submission, but he's been working on his stand-up game. He's been in the ring against some very strong fighters, like Crunkleton and Gunderson in his career.
Yeah, he's gone up against good competition. That was back in the WEC. We got to see him fight there.
You see every win by submission. He's lost by KO, which is probably something that Zach George is well aware of because that's what he likes to do. Yeah, we remember seeing Mike Joy come in. Very tough fighter. George, one of the outstanding wrestlers in Oklahoma high school history, and they love that sport in Oklahoma. The big wrestling state, of course, with great programs at Oklahoma State and OU. And here comes Zach George. Now, he's the wrestler with some punch. Based here now in Gresham, Oregon. Trains with Matt Lindland. The last time we saw him here on HDNet, he was knocking out Chris Mickle in the first round to win the IFO lightweight title. 7 of his 12 victories have come via knockout. Lindland yesterday at the weigh-in, Ron, Jeff, and I talking to him, and he was funny in talking about 2 of his wrestlers in Zach George and Ryan Schultz, who we'll see next week in the IFL Grand Prix. Both outstanding wrestlers. He said, but these guys want to stand up and swing. I don't know if I've seen 2 wrestlers that love to throw punches more than these 2, as we take a look now at the tail of the tape between Joy and Zach George. And there you see not much difference all the way around. Very talented young men. Zach George, obviously that 12-1 mark really leaps out at you. His only loss came in April of this year in the IFL to Davidas Torosavicius.
And one thing Mike Joy confided in me was he knows Zach George has a left hook and a straight right, and he wants to circle away from that right hand.
Let's go to Tim for the official introductions.
Ladies and gentlemen, still to come on the card tonight, the battle for the vacated heavyweight belt of SportFight and the defense of the welterweight championship of SportFight. But first, a battle of the lightweights will begin in the blue corner. Trained in Marcelo Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and working at Brian Johnson's Kickboxing Academy. His professional record, 6 wins with 3 losses. All of those wins coming by way of submission. At 5 feet 7 inches tall and 154 pounds, here is Mike Pretty Boy Joy. His opponent tonight on my right and fighting out of the red corner, trained in Team Quest with an impressive professional record, 12 wins with just 1 loss. At 5 feet 6 inches tall and 155 pounds, he's a wrestler and a kickboxer from Gresham, Oregon. Here is Zach George. 3 5-minute rounds scheduled. Dave Hagen, the third man in the ropes.
All right, guys, we already talked about the rules. Good, clean fight, protect yourselves at all times, obey my commands. Touch them up, go back to your corner, come out fighting.
As you look at the Red Devils, Zach George, 2 of his last 3 fights have ended in knockout, including that IFO championship over Mickle. And here he goes, round 1. And quickly with the kick is George.
Wow.
He'll waste no time.
And Joy is not circling away from the right hand, staying right out in front.
Joey showing southpaw here. Will he try to stand and swing with George? Joy moving in now, counter punching, tries to bend down. No way he's going to get a takedown like that. George very sharp, obviously, in knowing about takedown defense from his great wrestling days.
Well, they're in the clinch, but George has head position. And wow.
And now, Joy will stand back up. That's the way George wants it. That was interesting, wasn't it? A little off-balance flip, roll, and now back to action.
Well, Joy wanted to flop, try to bring George down. George would have none of it. Nice inside trip attempt by Joy. You see George trying to hold the knees away, keep the legs out from under him.
Getting his position. Trying to work on the body. Zach George throwing the punches early.
Joy very much the aggressor here. He's trying to get this fight down.
There's a big kick. That's a slip. Back up quickly is George. George again with the kick. Look at Joy. Cut off that ring, though, and stay right with it.
I mean, George threw 4 strikes in like a second and a half, including a kick, just to keep Joy off of him when he fell. I like Joy's tactics. It's taking George out of just a straight stand-up fight. Rushing him, forcing him into the corner, clinching. These are all great tactics to try to bring the fight down to the ground. And to his credit, he's not afraid to bang.
Now, Joy told us he's ready. He's ready to swing with it. Not many guys have been able to do that successfully with Zach George.
That southpaw might force George into having to adapt a little bit. You always hear southpaws are unorthodox, difficult to fight. And both these guys like to end fights quick.
Joy swinging wildly, keeping Zach George's attention. George showing the kicking power that he has, not able to get that one to land, and Joy comes right back.
Yeah, nice check with the left hand of Joy on that kick.
Zach George having to regroup a little bit. See the extension he can get on those leg kicks, though. Joy has been impressive in the stand-up game here.
May flop again, yep.
Joy wants to and does bring it to the ground. Pulling Zach George down.
Triangle of Kimura is what he told me he's going to be looking for.
Mike Joy, 6 wins, all by way of submission. Probably stood on his feet more in this first round than any first round in his career.
And George will ask the referee to stand him. Joy doesn't even hesitate. I like it.
That's different, and there's a nice right by George. I don't think that was enough to, I think it stunned him, but it didn't really knock him down as much as Joy flopped, I believe, Jeff.
I agree with you. The punch was there, but it was not with full power.
But Joy, he felt the sting and knows, let's get back to my comfort zone if we can keep this thing on the mat now. I'd like to get back there. You have the feeling Mike Joy would like that, but Zach George is going to back up. Joy's going to stand right back up, and again, George misses with the kick and slips. Now Joy will try to go to work here, and under a minute to go in the first round. A fast-paced first round between Mike Joy and Zach George.
Nice elbows. Joy now trying to get to the side, but Zach George able to get the guard.
And Joy trying to get some punches in. George able to defend.
Here comes the Kimura attempt, but unable to secure the wrist. Short time.
Final seconds of round one. Mike Joy impressive here in this first round.
And will this be enough to steal the round right there? Very interesting ending.
Well, Mike Joy, he took Zach George out of his rhythm, as you mentioned, Jeff, and he dictated the pace.
And he set the tone. You know, he was not afraid. He didn't back down. He didn't say, all right, I can see stand up in any way, shape, or form. And to tell you the truth, Zach George is usually ending a fight in the first round. You wonder now, what's his mindset and how does his body feel?
Zach George has been a busy fighter. He likes the action. He doesn't like to sit on the sideline much. 7 wins already this year. But there you look at Mike Joy. Been winning everything by way of submission. We've seen more of his stand-up game tonight than we have in 2 previous fights that we have personally seen him involved in.
And I'm impressed with his stand-up at this point. He is not being outdone at all.
As we get ready for round 2.
George did have a right hand, but it wasn't real powerful. It did knock him down, but not stunning.
There's Joy, the striker, again coming out and swinging away. Zach George won't mind that kind of exchange. Joy, good defense though against those kicks.
Flying knee, missed.
Joy has been impressive in the way he has approached this fight.
He has a game plan and he's sticking to it. It looks good. It almost looks like George is a little frustrated.
That was a slip, and Joy back on his feet. He's willing to keep this a stand-up fight for now. George, we'll see if he tries to get a takedown.
Inside trick by Joy. That was sweet.
Instead, it's Joy who winds up on top. Now we'll see if Mike Joy can continue the punching that he's shown so far.
And that left hand had a way of getting in.
You see blood on the left ear there, Zach George. He's got to watch out for the up kicks, and he does, and now gets in closer.
Yeah, that's not going to affect Zach George at all, that cut on his ear. Probably ripped open the cauliflower.
Yeah, I think that's exactly it.
George doing enough here to stymie Joy's grounded pound.
Yeah, Joy was looking a little better on his feet, wasn't he?
Yeah.
George is tough here on the defensive.
Joy can get, you know, half guard or side mount. He'll have a better opportunity to strike.
Yeah, if he can get a couple of forearms in here on George. See the quickness of Zach George as well.
And I don't know why George decided to do that. He's now fighting the rear naked choke.
Well, Joy's trying to get it in there. You see the left arm of Mike Joy. George, you think he hesitated just a little bit? Maybe that's why he got caught in that.
He turned. Instead of staying in guard, he decided to try to go and
well, when he turned,
out.
I thought he was going to try to just spin out.
Right, and try to get to his
yeah.
feet. And now he's caught in a position where he's constantly got to be aware of that submission. And with a guy like Joy, that'll end the fight.
Well, Zach George hasn't been in this position too often, and there he's right back up, tries to get an uppercut in.
And that all that blood that you see is only from the ear of Zach George. And both these guys got cauliflower ears. Nice check.
As you heard the smack here, and gets some attention of the crowd as well. fakes flying in with the knee as George now backs off. Joy trying to move it back against the ropes. Good kick by George. Joy shoots in now. He wants to get it back on the ground, and maybe he's had enough of the stand-up here with 1:25 to go in this second round.
Joy doing his best now to keep the hips down and turn the head of Zach George to the center, and he'll have an opportunity to work from the top position. Oh, a quick stand-up by Dave Hagen.
He's going to move him out into the middle.
They're just moving him. Okay, I didn't think they were going to stand. That was quick, I thought.
Just get away from the sides there, away from the ropes, and move out toward the middle and resume. And you see the quickness of George. Equal to the task, though, is Joy.
Well, that's a nice tactic. By moving like that, you keep your opponent from punching because he's too busy grabbing, trying to hold on to you. In on a leg shot, again, giving up his back.
He's giving up his back again, but we'll see what Joy can do with it. Get the feeling George knows exactly what's happening here, and there's under 17 down to 16 seconds to go in this second round.
This is where Joy can punch. Well, not with the right hand stuck there. Now he can punch.
Round two is drawing to a close. Mike Joy and Zach George has been a very entertaining fight here so far as they get ready to move on to round three.
I don't know. Maybe Joy that round.
Yeah, that's good. I think
he's
so.
had his opportunities.
I think so.
Takedowns.
I would have to say Joy is in the lead right now, taking this has been the tempo that he wants. As you look over there at Zach George, there's Mike Joy. Now let's take a look. Maybe this is the kick right here that opened up that ear.
Bang. Very well could have been. Great camera work right there, showing you the impact of that kick. And there's that beautiful inside trip that got Joy on top earlier in the round. I'm going to give that round to Joy, no question.
So we get ready for the third round, and Zach George in the little jeopardy here has that 12-1 record, has been a red-hot fighter. Came in here as the favorite in this fight, according to Nick Kalikas of BetOnFighting.com. Sets the odds for us at Inside MMA. Came in almost a 2-1 favorite over Mike Joy.
Flying knee.
And again, Joy is staying with the strategy. Mike Joy decided right off to stay on the ground, stay upright as much as possible, take his chances to get it on the ground when necessary, like he's doing right now. And a very smart, effective fight.
Yeah, Zach George gave him that opportunity with the leg kick. Joy grabbed it, just brought him right down. Let's see if Joy can stay busy. Dave Hagen, someone who likes to bring him up if there's no action, and he'll do it quickly.
I am a Dave Hagen fan, you know. I like the way he calls it fights.
I don't mind it. I haven't seen anybody really get cheated out of a position
no, I haven't
on
either.
top. If nothing's happening, bring him up.
And the way Joy has been taking on his whole approach to this fight, Jeff, I have to think if he stands back up, it really won't bother him that much as George pops up and out of it.
And you can bet conditioning right now will play a huge role, both physically and mentally. How many long brawls have you been in?
See George sprawling out now, trying to get top control. Well, George does have that strong wrestling background. He's become more of the striker, though, in his pro career.
He's got good hands. But Joy with lefty posed the problem for him. He hasn't been able to get in real clean shots. Legs way up right now, looking possibly for a submission.
Got to watch for the up kicks, backs off those. He wants to move this thing out a little bit more into the center. We'll see now if George can go to work. You get the sense that George knows he's got to come up with some pretty good punches here.
And
that's
another
not the way.
takedown. Yeah, you know, I mean, these score. It's effective grappling.
This has been a very strong showing tonight by Mike Joy.
Taking his opponent out of his strength, getting into yours. He dives right back into that guard, makes sure George stays down. And that's an effective tactic, as long as he stays busy.
I mean, this has been a perfect fight almost for Joy. I'm trying to think of one wrong move he's actually made in this fight.
George hit him with a right early in the first round, but that was really the only real solid shot.
Everything that Joy has tried to do, he has executed. It has been the blueprint for how to fight Zach George.
Wow, fast stand-up by George, makes it to his feet.
See the quickness of George, but the strength of Joy, giving him no place to go and even getting a punch in there as well.
Knee also. Going after the neck.
Right in front of the Joy corner. They might be jumping for that in the next 125 unless Zach George can come up with something big.
And again, Joy dumps him down to the ground. Continuing to control position. See if he can't posture up a little better and get that left involved.
And Joy trying with big swings now. Trying to drop something in the ground and pound. When that doesn't work, he still stays active. Works the body, tries it again. And Mike Joy is doing no wrong here in his strategy.
This is a great strategy, good tactics. This fight has been well planned out by his team.
And Zach George, who has been so impressive this season, perhaps on the verge of losing for only the second time after 12 victories. And Joy throwing a few more punches just in case.
This is where you want to stay. You don't want to let him go at all.
Under 10 seconds to go.
Throw him straight back if you can.
Fight drawing near. And again, it's Joy maintaining control right until the end.
And I think that's going to be good for him.
Mike Joy with a big performance tonight. He knows it. His corner knows it.
Sometimes the strategy and the tactics you use dictate a fight. Nobody really dominated there. However, Mike Joy certainly got to the positions he wanted to, much more than Zach George.
And the always dangerous puncher that is Zach George never got a chance to unload.
No, he didn't. That was probably the biggest thing that Mike Joy did, was shut down Zach George's stand-up game. He's got a reason to be bouncing around. That was a smart fight. Marcelo Alonso, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Brian Johnson, kickboxing. They are the ones that prepared Mike Joy. Chris Davis and those two I just mentioned in the corner.
Well, all of the victories for Mike Joy have come by way of submission. Will this be his first one via decision? And there is Zach George. He's been an active fighter this year, as we told you about. We saw him win the IFO title back in September. And now these two guys meet once again in the middle, separated by Dave Hagan and awaiting the word of the judges. And here's Tim with the verdict.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, how about a big hand for these two warriors leaving it all in the ring for you tonight? We do have a unanimous decision. Judge Rick Campos scores the bout 13-27. Judge Behringer and Judge Richmond scoring the bout 29-28. For your winner, fighting out of the blue corner, Mike Pretty Boy Joy.
The silver lining for Zach George was that he remained the lightweight champion in another fight promotion. He could take away a few lessons from this surprising defeat, then apply them to his next title defense. For Mike Joy, it was the kickstart his career needed. The win has earned him a main event title shot at SportFight 22. We remain at SportFight for our next ultimate upset. The co-main event that night featured a fight for the heavyweight title vacated by UFC veteran Jeff Monson. Looking to take the throne was 6-2 Jeremiah Constant, who had competed professionally since 2003 and was ready to take the next step. In his way stood the rookie, Josh Queen from Idaho. A protege of veteran Trevor Prangley, Queen was making his pro debut, and few thought that he had earned the title shot. Even fewer thought he could win.
Josh, the Machine Queen. As we talked about earlier, Jeff, got that quick punching power, big knockouts, big, quick first-round victories. However, all those in the amateur ranks. And you can see he has trained, though, with a pretty good fighter in Trevor Prangley.
No, without question, he's got the power to end it with just one shot. And despite the jump in the caliber of opponent, Jeremiah Constant, it doesn't matter. If he can touch you with that hand, he can put you down. Look for him to sprawl and brawl. He'll avoid takedowns, do his best to keep it standing, and that gives him the best shot at victory.
An imposing-looking Josh Queen. And if he looks like he might be a lineman, well, that's because he is in the Evergreen Football Semi-Pro League. He plays for the State Line Miners and holds the league record with 4.5 sacks in a game. He's trying for one big punch here tonight to be the heavyweight champ. And here comes Jeremiah Constant. Certainly, he has been consistent. His fights go one round. That's it. Win or lose, they go one round. Gresham, Oregon's Jeremiah Constant, crowd favorite making his way in. Trains with Team Quest, that powerhouse that is Matt Lindland. 6-2 his record, all by way of submission. Both times he is lost by way of knockout. That has to bode well in the back, at least, of the mind of Josh Queen, you would think.
I would say you're correct on that, and you heard him say it in his interview. He doesn't always do the smart thing. So if he leaves his head open, I am sure Queen is there to go ahead and pound on it.
We take a look at the tail of the tape now for the SportFight Heavyweight Championship. And you see Josh Queen, bigger, slightly taller, a little more reach, and also almost 18 pounds heavier than Jeremiah Constant. Constant at 6-2. Queen 0-0 as a pro. After that 12-0 victories that he kept putting up in the amateur ranks to get this title shot, let's go to Tim with the official intros.
Ladies and gentlemen, the SportFight title belt is up for grabs in this championship matchup. We'll turn first to the blue corner, a freestyle fighter with heavy hands. Undefeated as an amateur, a perfect 12-0, he'll make his professional debut here tonight. Training with the Lion's Den at 6 feet 2 inches tall and 259.5 pounds, fighting out of Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. Please welcome Josh the Machine Queen. His opponent tonight describes his fighting style as combat wrestling. His record, 6 wins with 2 losses, most of those ending in the first round. Standing 6 feet 1 inches tall and weighing 242 pounds, training with Team Quest and fighting out of Gresham, Oregon. Here is Jeremiah Constant.
That's me. That's me.
This bout also scheduled for 3 5-minute rounds. Sean Gregory, your referee.
All right, guys, this is for the belt. You know the rules. Protect yourselves at all times. Above all, obey my commands at all times. Any questions from either one of you guys? Touch gloves, please. Got your corners.
Are you ready, Rose Garden?
You have to give credit to Josh Queen. He's got the professional stare down pat.
Yeah, these two, if looks could kill.
Here we go, round 1. SportFight Heavyweight Championship, scheduled for 3 5-minute rounds. And sprawling out on the defense right away is Josh Queen.
Nice
Jeremiah
peek
Constant
out.
wants to get down on the ground. That is his strength. That's where he wins.
That was a beautiful peek out from the bottom. Head came out to the side. Perfect position to get around behind. I'm surprised he didn't put him down first. Queen doing a nice job of tripoding.
Queen's getting down in his defensive lineman stance here as Constant again tries to get the big man down. He's given up almost 20 pounds to him.
And that's the one question you have about Queen is how is his cardio? He ends fights very quickly. He's not used to going long distance.
Well, he's already gone longer now than his last 3 fights combined.
And there's the right hand again. Boy, does he throw it. Not really straight, but it's
And
got
there was
power.
a pretty good right by Constant. Remember, Constant's fights all into the first round, one way or the other.
That was all. He's awarding a point there. That was definitely grabbing the rope to stave a takedown.
Do you think he's taking a point for sure away from Josh Queen?
It looked like he signaled one over to the right and one over here, and he's just leaned down to say something to the commish. So we'll find out at the end of the round. But he was going down, and he grabbed the rope to save himself.
That would be a huge hole already for Josh Queen. Of course, there's still a long way to go in this first round.
And this is where a good wrestler wins. Pulling the head down. Now he's behind him. Can he get his arm back, though? Queen doing a great job.
Well, look at Queen. Looks like he's picked up some pretty good wrestling there. We've talked a lot about his big punches and his first round knockouts.
He's trying, but positional advantage to Constant.
Let's check in now with Ron.
All right, with Trevor Prangley in Queen's corner. And Trevor, talk about your fighter right now.
We're just weathering the storm here. We knew Jeremiah was a good wrestler, and he was probably going to go for the takedown. And we're just hanging in here.
You got a big boy. Cardio's got to be key. How is his cardio?
His cardio is decent, you know. Big boys, it's always got to be the key. You know that.
Absolutely. Thanks, Trevor. Kenny?
Thanks, Ron. Hey, going up Trevor Prangley a little bit, I'd say that would get you ready for a lot of things, wouldn't it? As he's been training, Josh Queen has.
And he's doing it because Constant, he's surviving it because Constant's left hand is constantly tied up out over the head of Queen. And this is what we call getting a little bit high in your ride.
See Queen always looking for that punch. Just throw that one punch if he can.
Nice inside trip attempt, but no room to set Queen down.
And Ron Kruk has informed us that Josh Queen indeed did have 1 point taken away, Jeff, as you called it there, for holding on to the rope. So a bad spot to be in already.
Well, you wouldn't call it it's a minor thing, but he was on his way down, but grabbing the rope saved him from going all the way down. And you have to issue a penalty there.
And especially right now, you figure Constant already has the lead with the takedown, a couple of them so far anyway. This could be a 10-8 round.
Potentially could, and that's devastating in terms of trying to come back from that. But if you can do it, the right hand of Queen is the way to go.
Well, Queen here in his pro debut after that great 12-0 start as an amateur, fighting for the heavyweight championship.
And he's out of the Lions Den, so you got to figure, you know, they're used to fight. It's a great club, you know, one of the originals in the UFC.
And already, Queen, under a minute to go here, has stayed in the ring longer than most fighters have, with more experience against Jeremiah Constant.
Queen has an opportunity now. I mean, Constant is down on his knees. He's not in a good position to lift. Yeah, right there. Just keep those hammer fists going.
Queen almost 20 pounds, right about 18 and a half pounds, the weight edge that he has on Constant.
Oh, and he's going to get on top. Constant may be in trouble here.
On style points, not that good, but it looks like it's effective as he moves into mount. And now Josh Queen trying to get some punches down there. And giving up his back is Constant. Oh, that was an eye-opener. You see his eyes bulge out with that punch.
Right up.
Josh Queen doing some damage in the last seconds of round one.
And he's
tapped him out. Josh Queen is the winner. He chokes out Jeremiah Constant, and he is the SportFight heavyweight champ. Josh Queen turned it around in the final 30 seconds of round 1, and he wins the belt in his pro debut.
It seemed Constant got tired staying underneath, trying to lift the leg of a bigger man, and Queen bowled him over. And once he got on top, particularly in the mount, he had the left arm trapped of Constant, and he wailed away, grounded, pounded his way to victory. Right there's the big bowl over.
He looks just like a defensive lineman that he is in semi-pros, just bowled him over.
And there the left arm is trapped of Constant, and right away Queen goes to work with his right hand. And you said it, once he got hit, you saw those eyes go really wide. He was able to sink the arm under the chin and eventually gain the rear naked choke. Right in there, those eyes are wide. He's looking right at us there, and here comes the hand. And there's the choke, and there's the tap.
What an impressive performance.
Comeback. Queen.
An auspicious pro debut for Josh Queen. So much so that he now will get a belt as well as the heavyweight champ. And Queen is king of the heavyweights here in the Pacific Northwest. Let's get the official time on that victory.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, this championship bout comes to an end just 4 seconds shy of the bell of that opening round by way of a rear naked choke. And the winner and new heavyweight champion of SportFight, Josh Queen!
At 260 pounds, Josh Queen is a legit heavyweight, and with Trevor Prangley teaching him all he knows, Queen could one day be the king of MMA heavyweights. From Portland, we crossed the country to Connecticut for the IFL World Grand Prix Finals. On the undercard was Rory Marcum, one of the league's hardest-hitting welterweights. But due to injuries he suffered during the IFL season, he was on the outside looking in for a title shot. Making his comeback, it seemed Marcum would be next in line to take on the winner of the Delson Heleno Jay Haran Championship bout in early 2008. Before that could happen, Marcum would have to get by virtual unknown Brett Cooper, who brought his 6-4 record to the IFL Open tryouts 2 months earlier. Impressing the scouts, the 20-year-old was given a chance and took the fight with Marcum on just 2 weeks' notice. As big of an underdog as the New York Giants were against the New England Patriots in this year's Super Bowl, many thought Marcum would make quick work of the inexperienced Cooper. Just like the Vegas odds makers who had the Giants as major underdogs, they too were wrong.
Round 2. Oh, Cooper comes back with a good straight right.
Yeah, Marcum gets too greedy. He needs to watch out because Cooper, man, I gotta tell you. Marcum needs one clean shot.
Oh! And again, it's Cooper. Quicker on the trigger. Shoots in and takes down Marcum.
Marcum looked there a little bit for a side choke.
Brett Cooper, and this is the 11th pro fight. Boy, he looks like he's had a ton of seasoning for a 20-year-old, doesn't he?
He's doing really good.
Let's check in the Marcum corner with Andrew.
Standing by with Pat Melendez, a man who needs no introduction. Pat, it seems like Alex Cooper is fearless in this fight. What did you tell Rory Marcum between rounds?
He's just got to use more fakes, go to the body more, low kicks. Fuck.
He was close with that triangle in the first round, Pat.
Let's go, shit!
We're going to send it back to Kenny and Boss.
Cooper's got him down. Cooper's won this fight. Cooper has pulled the upset.
Unbelievable!
Brett Cooper, in his IFL debut, has just knocked out one of the best punchers in the league.
Oh! Unreal! What a fighter! Oh! Man!
As you look at Rory Marcum, suffering only his second IFL loss.
Tell me where you are.
Brett Cooper with an auspicious IFL debut. Look at his punching power.
Look at that crazy punch. Overhead right knee to the head. It was all the setup right there. Boom, nice combination there. And then right uppercut. Ho! Look at this. And now the uppercut, poof.
Brett Cooper did everything perfectly, and his coach Antonio McKee celebrates. Brett Cooper fought like Rory Marcum in defeating Marcum tonight.
Yep, you're absolutely right. Whoa, very impressive. I'm blown away, man. Welcome to the IFL, Brett Cooper.
After the disappointing loss, Rory Marcum was looking to turn things around in 2008. Unfortunately for him, a virus affecting his breathing has already knocked him out of his first scheduled fight of the year. For Brett Cooper, he's in the deep end of the pool now, and there's no turning back, and no one will underestimate him from here on out. We stay in the IFL for our next fight, where no one was getting more praise than undefeated lightweight Chris Horodecki. Like Brett Cooper, he was also just 20 years old and looked even younger. But his appearance hid a tenacity that all 11 of his opponents learned about the hard way. He put his 11-fight win streak on the line for the IFL lightweight title against Ryan Schultz, a fighter he had defeated a year ago by TKO. Schultz had 10 years in age on Horodecki and 18 career wins, but his 9 career losses made him the underdog coming in. The chances were slim that he'd be the guy to put the first blemish on the Polish Hammer's record.
Schultz doing everything that Lindland was telling him during that exchange.
Yep, and Horodecki, oh nice, that body shot and right straight. First go to the body, which is a very smart thing to do. Horodecki tries to push him away, but man, no, he's on him.
Schultz comes right back, working on the side. Shot top.
Gotta go with it, kid. Go with it, kid. Circle with it now, Chris. Go, 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 Chris. Circle hard with it. You're there with it. Out that side.
Uh-oh. Reverse figure four.
Get that arm out of there.
Oh, no defense.
Horodecki's in trouble.
It's to be over. This is over.
Schultz is putting it away. Schultz, it's over.
Oh,
Ryan Schultz has knocked out Chris Horodecki. Upsetting and handing Chris Horodecki his first loss. He had it on the ground early, was controlling the ground on Horodecki, boss.
Yeah, he's got the hand already. He's got the hand, you see. He can't defend himself. There's no defense right now. So the referee did a good job here. He should have stopped up, and now he jumps in good. He actually hit the ref one time, I believe.
Horodecki trying to push away there until the very end, but I mean, it was all Ryan Schultz.
Yep, locked up.
And you're right, you talk about opening that bottle, letting the mean genie out that he's been holding in there for over a year.
Yep.
And he unleashed it with a vengeance.
We'll do it again. We'll do it again.
There's no doubt that at just 20 years of age, Chris Horodecki has a long and successful MMA career ahead of him. But now with 5 straight wins and an IFL belt, Ryan Schultz has served notice to the MMA world that he has turned the corner in his career. Now we go from one formerly undefeated lightweight to another. Gilbert Melendez was 13-0 and considered by many experts to not only be the top-ranked lightweight, but one of the best pound-for-pound fighters in all of MMA. On New Year's Eve in Japan, his opponent was Mitsuhiro Ishida. Ishida hadn't fought in a year, and few considered him to be the one to stop Melendez's streak. But Ishida's style proved difficult for Melendez, who struggled to get on track in the first round.
Now I'm a little biased when it comes to Gilbert Melendez. Of course, my radio show, Tag Radio, is one of his sponsors, so that helps out quite a bit as well. But he comes from Santa Ana, California, is a vicious, mean man when he fights. And probably the nicest guys I've ever met. Like literally, most fighters don't get along with me. I just stylistically, personally, we don't get along. Gilbert and I get along famously. It's amazing how well we get along because he's such a nice guy. But once he gets inside those ropes, it's over. He literally, I don't know what the switch is. I don't know if it's a chemical imbalance. I don't know if they keep him off his ADD medication. I don't know what it is. He literally turns crazy and fights with that viciousness the entire time. Mitsuhiro Ishida, 14-3-1. Obviously the crowd, the fans love Ishida, tremendously famous, has the exact same style as Melendez, straightforward, constant pressure. You are literally gonna see the most high action fight of the night for me. This is my fight of the night because of the action that's gonna happen. As we take a look at the tail of the tape, no one has defeated Gilbert Melendez. Ishida coming in here. 3 of his victories by way of knockout. Had a 9-fight win streak stopped by, and we'll mention this name again, just a year ago, Gomi defeated him with a TKO. So Ishida has been in against some of the best. Melendez certainly has picked it up and has really had a meteoric rise since debuting in the WEC back in 2002. Much anticipation about this matchup. Just off camera, Kenny, I can see it's because they're in our corner. Kawajiri is actually in Ishida's corner, so he just won tonight and immediately came out to support his training partner, his teammate. Gilbert Melendez, he started off his career, he won his first 5 fights by way of technical knockout. The last 4 victories have come by way of decision for the 25-year-old Californian. And round 1 begins. Obviously, Gilbert has a long range, a long reach. A little bit bigger, a little bit taller. And here's a guy that will take advantage of that reach that he has. Gilbert doesn't mind at all standing on his feet. Got great uppercuts, which feed right into Ishida style because Ishida likes to shoot. Gilbert's able to catch him with an uppercut, he tries to get in. Melendez pawing out there with that jab as Ishida tries for the single leg. And Melendez hanging tough, but not now. Wow, Ishida trying to power his way into this. And Melendez standing up. Ishida showing some good power here early on. Kept this right back on the ground. There's a topside crucifix, his opposite side from the camera, has his arm caught. Trying to put this reverse power half on this side. He's got to be a little bit careful here. Ishida needs to keep pushing that head down. Right now, Melendez, no place to put that right arm. See Ishida working on the left. Good job changing position. Now Melendez back and free. Tries to cut the rope down. Tries to cut the ring down and hit the rope more than the opponent there, but the crowd loves it. She's got a lot of movement, moving a lot to his left. It's moving right into Gilbert's right hand, though. Should be moving the other way to get away from that power right. Melendez corner there, telling him to double the jab wheel over here. Because he has just been flicking it out there, almost pawing instead of punching.
Guys quick as Ishida, you want to make sure snapping punches are those and get in again.
There's Ishida again, grabbing hold and going down.
Great takedown game on Ishida. Really much improved from the last time I saw him fight.
Ishida only a couple of submission victories. He's had 11 of his wins have come by way of decision. He certainly doesn't mind going the distance and racking up the points.
Trying to keep him in the ring. You know, there's probably 6 extra officials on the outside of the ring to keep everyone inside for fighter safety.
And for those who may be unfamiliar, those were officials that were not some random fan sitting courtside like in the Lakers game, pushing the ball back in bounds.
It wasn't Jack Nicholson trying to push him back in. Ishida really hasn't thrown any punches as of yet. Melendez has been really banging up, controlling the feet, but getting taken down every time.
Ishida now with 3 takedowns here in this first round. Going for the back now, Melendez. In a bear hug, he's hanging on. Well, Melendez trying to slam him from this position.
As soon as he gets his head in front, there it is.
Does.
Great job.
He drives him into the canvas. And now Melendez going for the choke. He's going for the guillotine.
He's got the chin cut underneath. You can see his hand cutting that chin. If he can extend his body out. He's got the length extended. If he hasn't been tight enough, looks like his hand's coming free though.
Crowd appreciates the effort by Ishida to get out of that.
Great position change.
Melendez with that slam that echoes throughout this packed arena. Now it's Ishida trying to get back in control of this fight. He's had the most takedowns and picking up the points here in this first round.
Nice side control position. Good job moving his hips.
Ishida trying to measure Melendez. But he's going to work more on those knees a minute ago, Frank. But opted not to.
Remember these rules, allowed to knee an opponent at any time, whether he's on his feet or not. That's a great position. Oh, you see a nice knee by Gilbert. Body front. He's trying to use his legs a little bit.
Out the clinch, good striking by Melendez. Keep waiting to see if he will try some combination or double up on that jab as his corner was trying to encourage him.
Now he's reaching. He's starting to reach a little bit with his punching. He's getting a little bit more nervous about the takedown.
Halfway here in this first round. Here on Yarennoka, the biggest fight night of the year in Japan and their biggest day of the year, New Year's Day. Just a little over 2 hours away here in Tokyo, and at the Saitama Super Arena, it is a packed house. Fedor's return, and also to see a great undercard that includes Gilbert Melendez, who was just slammed once again to the mat by Mitsuhiro Ishida.
Gilbert did a great job after getting slammed, trying to roll in a triangle. An even better job by Ishida to get out of it. As I said earlier, non-stop action. These guys tend to keep going, tend to keep moving.
And Ishida, who's been inactive for almost a year. Obviously, Melendez hasn't, but Ishida comes out here in full strength. Once again, just as he stands up, Ishida gets another takedown, and Melendez is back up and goes into the corner.
Now, when people wondering, I'm sure, and I'm speculating. I'm not positive why Gilbert's doing this, but if a guy that keeps taking you down over and over again, you put yourself in the corner, it's harder for him to take you down. There's less positions for him to move you to, as if you're in the center of the ring. Oh, he's got the Kimura.
Melendez trying for his submission attempt.
3 minutes. 3 minutes left,
Ishida back in control, getting the back now, Melendez.
Just under 3 minutes in this first 10-minute round.
Ishida's had success with these takedowns.
Is really all Ishida has done really is use punching and get inside, and then he's used it's become a submission match from his standpoint. Well, Gilbert the whole entire time is trying to create space and start swinging again. Now you're going to start seeing as this fight goes longer, whose style is can control the other man's style better.
That's one of the judges again, holding on to the ropes there.
2 minutes and 20 seconds. Go shake your base,
And again, Ishida going for that takedown.
Two minutes, Gil.
A little over 2 minutes to go here in round number 1. Gilbert Melendez with his unbeaten streak on the line. And trying to go 2-0 on New Year's Eve here in Tokyo, won last year.
Great wrestling ability by Ishida. He was stuck in a weird position. He kept going back to the takedown.
Ishida making sure he avoids one of those up kicks. Has the back of Melendez, who's going to be warned for grabbing onto that rope. Once again, Ishida going piggyback there for a moment. Melendez spinning out of it, delivers a couple of knees. Almost was able to unload with the combinations.
Ishida's so quick. The moment the punch is coming, his body is almost faster than his punches, which is unheard of.
A minute to go in this first round.
Okay. 1 minute. 40 seconds. 40 seconds.
Got that arm caught. He's used to his advantage if he can. It's a good Kimura position if he wants to go ahead and lock it in. He can finish it from here because he's got his head caught in there too. A little awkward.
Just about a half a minute to go here in this opening 10-minute round. Melendez and Ishida. And Ishida gets another takedown after taking some slaps from Melendez. And now he's trying for a guillotine at the bell. That is the end of the first round.
Big slam by the beginning by Gilbert, right when Ishida got on his back. But he couldn't take advantage of it. Ishida did a good job protecting himself and rolling over and coming right back up, getting back to his feet, getting caught in a guillotine, and then defends this as well. There's a great lift job here on Gilbert and repays the favor. But Gilbert tries to roll immediately into a triangle lock, and Ishida gets himself out of that. Both these guys, even though they're getting lifted and slammed, but looking to move and looking to maneuver. This is a big fight for Ishida because he can revenge the loss that Kawajiri had, his business partner and his training partner, to Gilbert if he wins this fight. This fight is really whose style is just a little bit better today because it's basically mirror images of each other.
And we get ready for the second round. 5 minutes it's scheduled for, and here they go. We'll see if Melendez is able maybe to pick up his punching a little bit more too. And Ishida right on him.
He knows now that he lost that first 10 minutes. He's got to make it all up now in the last 5 minutes. It's difficult against a guy like Ishida who's so quick, lowers his level so fast.
Ishida is probably as fast as anybody Melendez has faced, do you think?
This is the fastest I've seen him because no one else is really this aggressive. And I got to be honest with you, I think Ishida's one of the fastest guys I've seen.
Yeah, he's incredibly quick.
At least getting to the shot. Not necessarily on his hands, speed for punching power, but definitely getting to the shot.
He's kept Melendez off balance. Unable to get his punches in. Good knee by Melendez. His best strike so far. Ishida piggyback here with Melendez. Slam him again. Not as hard that time as Ishida was holding on tight.
Gilbert needs to get a little more space. He's got to get up and wants to win this fight. Ishida just needs to keep doing what he's doing.
Gilbert Melendez has never lost. He's rapidly been moving up the lightweight ranks. That streak in jeopardy now here in the second round.
Three minutes, Gil. Punch. Keep your head. Keep your head.
So they will be moving back out now to the middle of the ring.
You got this, Gil. Less than 3 minutes, baby.
What about the ground game here of Melendez against the ultra-quick Ishida?
It's a good position, but she's doing a great job of holding him down. We can't really see what the ground and pound game against Ishida would look like.
Ishida's fought a very determined fight, controlled the tempo much of the way.
Constant motion, constant head motion, hip motion by both fighters. With a lot of position changes. Ishida now is able to control.
Ishida going for the arm, holding on tight to that left arm. Melendez trying to avoid the submission, and does. Melendez trying to hold on to his unbeaten record.
It's in jeopardy here, I gotta be honest with you. So far, he's been completely dominated, but definitely Ishida's definitely winning this fight at this point with about a minute and a half left.
Mitsuhiro Ishida getting those takedowns early in that fight, dictating the tempo of the first round. And Gilbert Melendez has not been able to, seems to get on his game, especially in his punching. We heard his corner say double up on those jabs, and he was never able to get in that kind of stand-up.
Both fighters have been in this tight situation before. Difficult, final kind of fighter you are when obviously your unbeaten record is coming up on being, finally getting that first loss. What's going to happen to him when it's close and tight?
A minute to go in this fight. Melendez trying to get that arm free, his right arm.
She just desperately holding on to that. Holding on to that, not letting it go.
40 seconds.
Ishida probably sensing, if I can just hold on here, I think I've already done enough to win this fight. I can keep Melendez from getting that one big blow or getting into a rhythm of a ground and pound here to close out. Melendez with urgency here in the final seconds of this fight. A flurry by Melendez, but will it be enough to keep him unbeaten against Mitsuhiro Ishida?
Aggressiveness is about the same. You gotta go down takedowns. Obviously, Ishida wins the takedown game. Submissions. I think Gil had a little bit more time to put submissions on because he was on the bottom a little bit more, but as you see him finally lowering his level, great knee right into the chin, but then got sucked back in again and was unable to, follow up with more strikes. And then from the bottom position, you can see Ishida working. This is the tightest submission of the game, even though Gilbert had more submission attempts. This is the tightest one, and Gilbert did a great job of getting out of this thing. Most other fighters would have tapped on that.
You can see the determination on his face, and then here it is. It's about the last 15 seconds of the fight when he is able to unleash some punches.
He really wanted to get moving, really try to get after it. Wasn't enough. The judges have made their decision. Ishida on his way to a unanimous decision.
Gilbert Melendez was clearly stunned after losing the first fight of his career. Although he turned up the heat in the second round, it was too little, too late for the young Californian. Melendez has already erased the memory of his first defeat, earning a TKO win over Gabe Lemley in dominating fashion. Our last fight of the night was the main event at the Maximum Fighting Championship in Edmonton, Alberta. Pete Spratt came in with nearly 30 fights on his resume and a 2-fight win streak courtesy of the first 2 HDNET Fights events. His opponent Ryan Ford was undefeated, but at just 4-0, the local Edmonton product had yet to face top competition. Talking a lot of trash entering the fight, once the bell sounded, these two let their fists do the talking, but the bout was not without controversy.
Well, this one's been about a month in the making. Kenny, all the trash talk, although Pete Spratt says it's not trash talk from his vantage point.
Hey, guess who the hometown guy is here, by the way? He's not the one from San Antonio, Texas.
Spratt says he loves the fact, he relishes that he's coming in as the underdog, the arch rival, whatever word you want to use. He says he feels that his experience really helps him. He felt that this was the other way around and he was the hometown guy, that Ford might be intimidated.
And you wonder about Pete Spratt. I don't think there's anything he hasn't seen from the hostile crowds, from guys who have submission skills, that have the all-around game, that have big punches. Pete Spratt, 17-10 officially is his record. He will claim more than that even. He has victories over the likes of Robbie Lawler, Clemente, Junker, a nice win for him in HDNET fight action down in Dallas. He's lost to guys who happen to be named St. Pierre and Koshik. I mean, it's a who's who. If you look down his list in his career, that includes, of course, UFC action, WCC action. He's been in movies, he's been in the UFC reality show, and Pete Spratt, who got that name, by the way, the secret weapon, very young in his career, because the word was that he was the secret weapon for a promoter. They knew they got a guy that was dependable, a guy that could fight well, a guy that would excite the crowd. Then, 4 or 5 fights later, everybody knows the secret's out. But he kept the name. And he also does his own walkout music, by the way, on top of that, as Ron Kruk reminds me, because he's also a rapper. What's left? What's left for this guy?
Well, he's hoping a victory here tonight. It's interesting. Now, Ryan Ford's credentials seem a lot like a young Pete Spratt, fan favorite. He's very energetic in the ring, very energetic on his way to the ring. The crowd loves him here in Edmonton. In MFC, he's quickly become the fan favorite.
And there you look at Ryan, the real deal Ford. Real deal so far. Interesting, he does have something similar to Pete Spratt. Spratt began as a 10-year-old. He got into boxing, had a nice amateur boxing career way back. Of course, Ryan Ford grew up in a boxing household. His dad ranked as high as 3rd in the world. Al Ford was at one time, and so both these guys with that similar background. But Ryan Ford has been almost like the dream guy, hasn't he? High school wrestling champ 4 times, most valuable player of his football team. 100 meters, record at that time of 10.7. He's a kind of a legend in the making in Edmonton here for 10 years.
Great natural athlete. He was a guy who actually had scholarship offers to play football down in NCAA. Unfortunately, he kind of got hooked up in the wrong group when he was a younger guy. And Ford, very open about the wrong decisions he made as a young adult. He's really turned his life around. After MFC 13, he proposed to his current fiance at the post-fight press conference, and he credits her to really kind of getting his life back on track, focusing him in, and he's able to release his rage, as he says, in the ring.
Yes, he and his fiancée Nina expecting their first child as well, so Ryan Ford's got a lot to fight for right now. His toughest test, Pete Spratt, is coming up. Let's meet the fighters.
The following fight is brought to you by the River Cree Resort and Casino, who bring you Andrew Dice Clay on March 6th. the official beer of the MFC, Mountain Crest Damn Good Beer, and MaximumFighting.com. This is the main event of the evening. And the contest is in the MFC welterweight division. Your referee is Herb Dean. Introducing first in the blue corner, standing 5 feet 9 inches tall, weighing in at 171 pounds, with a record of 19 wins and 10 losses, from San Antonio, Texas, Pete, the Secret Weapon, Spratt. And his opponent in the red corner, standing 5 feet 11 inches tall and weighing in at 169.5 pounds, with a record of 4 wins and no losses, from the City of Champions, Edmonton, Alberta,
All right, gentlemen, this is the main event. Protect yourself at all. Follow my instructions. We're going to do this fight clean.
Scheduled for 3 5-minute rounds. Ryan Ford, 3 of those victories, 3 of his 4 wins by way of knockout, the other by a rear naked choke. Pete Spratt, he has fought and won about every which way, from 7 knockouts, 7 submissions among his victories. Round 1 is underway.
Interesting, the differences to start off. Spratt, no eye contact as with Herb Dean has the 2 guys come to center. Ford here showing a little bit of jabbing from his background in boxing. And Ford, clearly his strength, he loves the slams.
And Ford shoots in there and is trying to get the slam on Spratt. Well, Ford looks bigger than Spratt right here, doesn't he?
Oh, for Ryan Ford is maybe one of the strongest guys I've ever seen in the welterweight division. His strength almost unmatched by a lot of guys at 170. He walks around at around 185. He doesn't have a drop a whole lot. He's very compact, and basically every ounce is muscle on him.
Well, he's being tested early. Most of the fighters, probably everyone he's fought so far, would have already been on the ground after that massive shoot-in there, but not Pete Spratt, obviously.
Well, Pete Spratt, this is the test for Ryan Ford. Can he match the experience of the Spratt? And you see that he's already ripped Spratt's shorts. So Spratt has his shorts ripped down the side on his right leg. We'll see how that comes into effect as this fight progresses.
Herb Dean, you heard him warn Ford there, quick grabbing the shorts. Ford trying for the takedown now. Head first, he goes to the canvas, does Pete Spratt. Spratt bouncing right back up in the corner.
Very impressed by just the ring savvy so far of Spratt. Ford's never met a guy like this in the ring so far. His strength normally just overwhelms everyone. Spratt might look a little bit smaller, Kenny, but right now he's matching him strength for strength.
Interesting, isn't it, the buzz you feel here, and there's not been a big punch thrown yet.
No, not a lot of energy except in the building. Not a whole lot happening in the ring so far.
And there's Spratt, who's shown good defense so far. Gives a knee to the back of the thigh of Ford.
Both guys kind of feeling each other out here a little bit.
And now Spratt will try to go to work, and Spratt slams Ford down. And Ford trying to get right back up, and he does, and spins it around, and he's on top.
And there's the strength of Ryan Ford and the quickness. You mentioned, Kenny, he was a guy who ran 10.7 in the 100 meters back in high school. He's very quick and agile for his size.
And now Ford will go to work for the first time with Pete Spratt on the ground. Spratt probably would like to keep it this way. Spratt's very comfortable in this position.
And Spratt, as an athlete, no slouch himself. You got to remember, this is a guy who was an All-American at Southeastern University. Same one of the whole likes of Brett Butler, Dennis Rodman, and others. And you know, Spratt was a very good athlete, still is a very good athlete in his own right.
Herb Dean, he won't waste any time. He warns them, go to work or he'll stand them back up. And you see Ford trying to move around to the side. Spratt standing back up, takes a knee to the for doing so. But both of them back on their feet. Once again, Ford trying to tug at the trunks of Spratt. Spratt gets in the first knee here as Ford pushes hard. Ryan worked for the second time about that, and that's just pure muscle. Flips him down in the corner. Spratt sticking out there, so they'll move him back out.
What's going to be very difficult here for Ford is the fact that Spratt is so good. If you create any space when you're on top, Spratt's going to get out of it and get right back up. Ford is going to have to be relentless and not allow any space for Spratt to squirm out of.
Spratt, again, he's in a half guard, closed guard, whatever. He's very comfortable. He talks about that, fighting on his back. Kind of likes getting in that half guard position where he feels he can reverse things if necessary on his opponent.
And you just watch Pete Spratt. You see the veteran little moves there. Ford thought he had the head open for a shot. Spratt tucks his chin and head right into his chest. And none of those blows can land because Ford then the only thing he sees is the back of his head and he can't take a shot there without risk losing a point.
Look at Spratt. He spins out of it. Gets a good kick in. Good knee. Ford is down. Ford sticking through the ropes. That's one that's helping him out right now as half his body is outside of the ring.
Well, let's see how Ford responds. That was a big blow by Spratt.
Spratt's blessed flurry so far. He spins out again. Ford appears kind of aggravated at the moment as he looked at him like, okay, I got it. I give you credit, old man. You know your stuff. And now he slams Spratt to the canvas again.
And you watch Ford. This is late in the round. Ford looks a little bit gassed, and now he lands a few forearms.
And that's the bell.
Oh, that's the bell.
The crowd screaming here. Even Herb Dean, I didn't hear the bell.
Ford landed a pretty big elbow to Pete Spratt after the bell.
That came after a bell that few people heard in here.
The only people that heard it were on the other side. Herb Dean was right there. Spratt was right basically in front where the bell was. He didn't hear it. I didn't hear it. We're on the other side, and Pete Spratt. Now, what's interesting, Shoney Carter fought here in Edmonton back in MSC 14. A well-traveled veteran guy, and a lot of people didn't like it. Looked like he kind of tapped out when he wasn't winded. Let's hope Pete Spratt comes back here.
What did you say?
We're listening for the bell. Okay, there's the bell.
Hey, I didn't hear the bell.
We heard the bell, and then there were a couple of forearms delivered by Ford. As you heard Herb say, though, I didn't hear the bell.
This is really playing into the hands of Ryan Ford. Ford looks completely gassed here. I think Spratt obviously is winded somewhat and hurt, but I think Spratt, you know, doing what a good veteran guy does here, just maintaining his composure.
And you look at Pete Spratt.
Are you going to be able to fight? Huh?
Give him some time, though, man.
I'll give him some time, but you know with a head blow, I can't give him that much time. I've given him time out. I'm going to give him some time. How much time do you want? Do you want 2 minutes? Okay.
Herb Dean just said he's going to give him more time. Ron Kruk has been checking in on this. Ron, what's going on right now?
No, but I'm going to give him 2 minutes. Okay. Okay. The situation is neither of us heard the bell. It was a late blow. It's an illegal blow. I'm not taking a point. I'm giving him 2 minutes to recover. No point deduction.
Well, it almost looked, when you watch Ryan Ford's reaction, that he might have heard it, but Herb Dean didn't stop him, so he thought maybe he didn't hear it.
And Herb Dean has said, you know, I didn't hear it. Now, it's easy for us because we're really listening to it. So we'll listen again. Okay.
It's hard to hear.
No,
Kenny, I
nobody
was
heard it
over
that
with
time.
the judges and the referees, and you're exactly right. The bell sounded. Herb Dean did not hear it. I'm not sure if the fighters did, but Ford landed a couple more shots that definitely took their effect on Pete Spratt. Herb Dean decided not to deduct any points. He has an extra couple minutes to regroup. Back to you.
All right, thanks, Ron. Right on top of it as always. So Spratt
I'm not going to make that decision until he says
sets in the corner. Now the corner of Spratt's asking Herb Dean right now, if he doesn't answer the bell, is this a no contest given what has happened here?
That was a pretty tough shot for Spratt to take, but let's be honest, Kenny. In his career, he has taken a lot more vicious shots than that. He's got to continue here. His career, and I think he's going to continue. He should. I think Spratt, he's wiping off the cobwebs, but he's taken tougher shots in his career. He'll be back.
To Herb Dean's credit, admitting he did not hear the bell and telling Spratt he's going to give him time. He wants this fight to continue as a new referee should. He's checking in again with Spratt. He okay. Spratt walking it off. Ryan Ford's corner already been informed. Pete Spratt's going to get his time to regroup. 2 minutes.
Ready.
He's ready. Here's round 2. And shooting right in is Ford. Ford maybe sensing blood like a shark would in the water, trying to get the takedown quickly on Spratt. And he does.
And now we'll see if Spratt does have any sort of adverse effects from that shot. We'll see if Ford starts to land a few blows, if Spratt's just going to tire out.
How much did it take out of Pete Spratt?
And you see Spratt pushing out of the hips, try to keep Ford at bay. Interesting to know, Pete Spratt's got the toenail polish.
He's gone quickly there for the armbar, couldn't get it. Ford too strong and too quick. Right here in front of us now. In on the side, trying again with that elbow is Ford. And Spratt trying to get away. And once again, Ford is one for the last time. As Pete Spratt's right in front of us now and almost in our lap for just a moment as he spills through under the ropes.
Ryan Ford just lost a point. Third time he'd be moored by grabbing the shorts of Spratt. So he's lost a point.
And this goes way back to the first of this fight. Back early in the first round, he was warm. Now Spratt's coming back out, and Ford once again muscles him to the canvas.
Pete Spratt landed a great kick there to the head of Ford, and Ford just shook it off like nothing. Ford said he's taken a lot of blows in his young life, and feels that if he has to take a few kicks, it's not going to faze him.
And once again, Spratt goes under the ropes, and they'll reset him right in the middle of the ring.
And fight.
Coming in on the side is Ryan Ford. Spratt quickly gets back on his feet. He blocked that knee with his forearm.
The experience of Spratt has been so noticeable in this fight. Ford has just been unable to really get any sort of consistent attacks.
And a takedown for Spratt.
Defense has been great all night.
Spratt getting a takedown here. And getting the reverses for it.
And that all came from his corner. Jason the Athlete McDonald.
And look, sweeping right back around is Spratt. And Spratt stands up. Holding on is Ford for the single leg. I tell you, the action has not stopped in this fight. They have gone out at full tilt in this one for a fight where we've only had 19 strikes thrown. An amazing amount of action from these guys, wheeling and dealing and trying to work from the ground position, etc.
Well, Ford, he's relentless. He's just like a pit bull. He goes and he goes and he goes, and he's going to have to keep going at Spratt. But what's interesting, that point he got deducted here in the second round could come back to haunt him.
Exactly. That could be a huge point for him. And down is Spratt. Ford trying to work on a choke now. Spratt's got that chin down. No trouble so far as you look at the right arm there, that well-tattooed right arm of Ryan Ford trying to work in here on a rear naked choke. Won't work on Pete Spratt right now.
Well, these guys could have a competition on who's got the best and most tattoos, that's for sure.
Once again, Ford trying to sink it in. Not able to get under the chin of Spratt, though.
No.
Spratt keeps that chin close very close. Ford open him up. He's trying again.
He's just trying to get it underneath him. Oh, he might have
He's
him
working
now.
on the left.
Oh, he's
got
in
looks
trouble.
like he's in trouble.
He's in
Ryan
trouble
Ford
now.
may end this. Ryan Ford trying to turn it on here, crank it up, and end this fight in the second round.
And there's Spratt just continuing to fight out of things.
Again, you look at the competition Spratt's faced, the St. Pierre's and Lawlers and Clementis and Cossacks, and, you know, he's just been there. He's seen about everything, but right now, he's seeing a very young and hungry Ford. Trying for the choke, he does it. That's it. That's it. He's still unbeaten. Ryan Ford just too much for the veteran Pete Spratt. He pulled him up and whoa. That was a vicious, wicked way to end it. Flopping down into that rear naked choke.
Well, you know what's interesting? This fight completely took on a different complexion than what both guys talked about leading in. Everyone thought this was going to be the old behind the backroom bar, throwing knuckles at each other. This was very much more of a technical, strategic type of fight. And, you know, I give Ryan Ford a lot of credit. This was definitely the hardest fight of his career, the ones I've seen in his brief 5 fights. Pete Spratt's defense was exceptional, but eventually Ford just overwhelmed him with power.
Ryan Ford remains the real deal. His first big test against the wily veteran Pete Spratt. And this is the way it wraps up. He got the back, and look at this. He's playing piggyback with some big muscles here, able to sink that big right arm in, and look, locks it in with that left behind his head for good measure.
Great strength, and Pete Spratt, you know, by using his strength, you know, Ryan Ford wanted him to just lift him up there because it put him in that vulnerable position. And there's Ryan Ford. We see him hugging his mom here right in the crowd. He claims she's his hero. And Ryan Ford, onward and upward, he continues here in the MFC.
Wow, Ryan Ford, to the delight of the home crowd, is now 5-0, rear naked choke of Pete Spratt. Let's get the final time.
Referee Horodecki stopped this bout at 4 minutes 1 second of round 2 after Pete Spratt taps out due to a rear naked choke. The winner of this match is Ryan the Real Deal
No doubt Pete Spratt will want a rematch with Ryan Ford. The question is whether Ford wants to look back or take the upset win and keep moving forward in his career. One thing's for sure, in MMA, behind every upset lies the next fight for both the triumphant underdog and the humbled favorite. We hope you've enjoyed HDNET Fights Upset Special. For the entire crew, I'm Ron Kruk, and we'll see you next time in the cage and on HDNET Fights.